Good morning, everyone. Today is the November 22nd meeting of the Master Plan Committee. It is 8:40 in the morning, and I'll just do a roll call of the members present. Don Hayes.
Present.
Bill Rideout.
Present.
Karen Clement.
Present.
And I'm Kim Creven, and I am present. The first order of business will be the minutes from the last meeting. I did just forward them to everybody that is on the call. Is everyone able to see them? Take a minute to read them. And does anyone have any questions or changes?
No, I don't see them yet.
You don't? Okay.
Oh, there they are. Okay.
Okay.
Squirrels on my side of town are slow today.
Yeah, my internet's being horrible. It's usually bad, but today it's horrible. Right.
I noticed one problem. I forgot to write what day the minutes we accepted were from the previous minutes. If you look at
Okay.
what was
So the meeting prior to that,
right.
I believe it was October 26th.
I can go grab it.
Anyone confirm or deny that?
October 26th.
Yeah.
Yes, master plan minutes from October 27th I have.
October 27th. Okay. And so we would just need a motion to amend the minutes to reflect the date of the last meeting.
Make a motion to amend the date of the last meeting and to accept the minutes as written.
And we'll need a second.
Second.
Okay. Okay. So the next thing that we'll be doing is kind of talking about the process of where we are.
All right, do we need a vote to?
Oh, yes. So you made the
I made the second.
motion. So now we just need the roll call. Don Hayes.
Yes.
Bill Rideout.
Yes.
And Karen Clement.
Yes.
Thank you. And I am in favor as well. So the motion does pass to accept the minutes. I don't have any additions or deletions at this point, but we could have a general discussion, bring everyone up to speed. So we were supposed to meet with the master plan committee. I believe it was the 8th of November. I had gone to that meeting live. As mentioned, we had sent the prior draft to the master plan committee. The only substantive change that we gave them after our last meeting was the insertion of the updates for the water chapter. So they had the the large draft for a long time. They had gone over the other documents. So I had expected on that night that we would review the draft, but they chose to not do it that night, to move it to the following Monday, which would have been last Monday. But then we learned through email that they were actually doing it on Thursday. So I was unable to attend that, as that is when the food comes for the food pantry. But Bill graciously attended. We did get the edits back. Bill sent that, but Bill, can you just give us a little update, sort of how the meeting went and things of that nature?
Right. Most of the changes suggested were just small edits. Then the two changes that I wanted to bring in front of the master plan committee were, one, they looked at our demographics and they said, oh, we have this other data that breaks it down into finer age groups that divides the 18 to 65 group into subgroups. And so my reply was, okay, send us the data and we'll insert it. So I sent that email to Beth, asking her formally to give us those updated demographics, because I don't think we have time to get research them themselves. So basically, I've hunted it back to them. The second thing that was not just an edit was they wanted a general, a better introduction to the Community Preservation Act in the opening vision statement. Just because we keep mentioning it and we only have a little footnote there, and it's a controversial thing. So if we had like a one-page summary or one page, whatever, a two-paragraph summary of what the Community Preservation Act was, you put it in that vision section, that would be an improvement. I mean, I can write that if you want. I'm friends with Bruce Easton, who's on the statewide committee that helps towns pass it, the fellow from Groton. So that were the two things that were just not many edits.
So let me just do something here. So on the demographics,
Yep.
If I guess I'm a little bit on the fence here. That's something that they've had for months now, going back, at least to potentially longer. I'm thinking that was towards the summer, like July timeframe. Changing the demographics requires creating new tables and all of that. My thought would be, as a sort of compromise, if they provide us with a few pages of demographics broken down, what do you all think about adding a note into the text of our document as it stands now? Further breakdown of demographics is in appendix, and then label the appendix.
Or I don't think we need to change the tables as they exist. If they give us the breakdown, we can just make a note in the text. For more, or just say, the age graph, this is 33% that. Just put it in sentences. It's the quickest way to change it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just being unfamiliar with what they might provide. That's the only thing. Like if it's vastly different, and if it's charts and graphs that look different than ours, I know at this point I wouldn't have time to recreate charts and graphs to look. Yeah.
Charts and graphs is silly. They just want that point to be made. So if
Sure.
they have some breakdown of what's the percentage of the group between 18 and 16, this percentage is this age and that percentage is that age, that's just a single sentence we could add to fill their requirement.
Okay.
If they don't
Their
have it,
was just different than what we used. What are they using?
And
they
again, it's,
referred to some documents that they had seen that Chaz had come across. They didn't really, they just said, oh, I've seen these numbers. So that's why I punted it back to them and said, well, show us the numbers.
again, this is a document that we're creating it's created at a point in time. The demographics are going to change. The 2020 census data was not out for us to put it in a timely manner. It's kind of like those sorts of things. I think I'm with Kim that if those are things that need need to change and they want it part of a living document, I think it needs to be an appendix, not in the middle of the document, with the notes referring that their appendix could change. Because what they may have today may change in 3 years when they're reviewing that part of the document. So rather than changing the entire document, part of the implementation would be updating the appendix rather than the body of the document, and wait for the next 10-year increment for the master document to change.
My question is this really a battle worth fighting? I mean, so we throw in an extra sentence about what the breakdown is.
Yeah.
You know, if they give it to us, it's piece of cake.
So there's a couple things we can do, is just table this until our next meeting. And I'm hopeful that this evening, the planning board is going to conclude their review. Again, the only thing that was new or substantive since their last review was the water chapter. So hopefully it will go quickly and they can conclude their review. We will have to meet one other time. And I think we would just say, if they can get it to us prior to our next and final meeting, then we can evaluate what it looks like. Bill, if it's as easy as a sentence, I don't mind putting it in. If they give us pages of demographic breakdowns that look different, then I would say, let's put it in the appendix. But again, we don't have anything to reflect on right now on what it is exactly that they might want. Does that make some sense?
Yeah, so it's just, right now we can't make decisions because we don't know.
Right. Okay.
And I think that, to me, they sounded like they just wanted us to make the point that, maybe in the future, the number of people over 50 is more than it used to be. So it sounded like a sentence is fine, but.
Yeah. I mean, and it is such a living document. So if someone were to come up with a housing development proposal that was focused on young people, we might have a surge in that age population. So it does tend to change over time. I did pop on the screen some narrative that I just pulled off the web on the Community Preservation Act.
Yep.
So do you want to, I would have to cite a source here because I just totally clipped it. That's not any original language there. But I could pull out something similar to this from MGL 44B or, something else that reflects this. But do you think that this would suffice, Bill, seeing you were there at the meeting?
It doesn't really say what it does for the town. There must be another paragraph that says the positive benefits of it.
Probably.
Right, because that's what they were looking for. They were looking for
The positive benefits. Okay. So if we're okay with saying this is what it is, Bill, if you want to grab me a paragraph for positive benefits.
Okay.
Yeah, I know like in Tingsboro, they've done weed mitigation, places have done playgrounds, places have done building renovations. So yeah, even if we just had a bulleted list, Bill, of
because there's like 4 different things that they are allowed to spend the money on.
Yeah.
And there's some comment like all these things are relevant to our town.
Okay. Are you taking notes, Bill? I should have asked that. Okay, thanks.
I thought Karen was.
Okay, so I'll incorporate this paragraph, Bill. I'll wait. And I feel 100% confident that it will be an acceptable paragraph for what we need.
That's a good introduction. That gives the legalese that we need.
Yes.
Then we just need a little marketing at the end.
And I'm sure that rail trails is something in there that a community has done with their money. So that would be a great list.
Okay.
All right. And so switching over now, I'm just going to pull up the the full document here. Um, Okay, so I can go through like we did last time, the other changes, just so that everybody sees them. We'll get, if there's anyone that's opposed to anything. Otherwise, do you want to follow with the same practice that the typographical items I just take care of outside of meetings?
Yes, I think that's what we signed last time.
Yes, I just wanted to reiterate for those in our viewing audience that might not know of that prior decision. So let's go here. We've got somehow the charts were, that table of contents was deleted. So that just needs to be added back in. So this one here needs a goal section.
All right, so this is very simple, Kim. This
Yes.
is, they said, if you look at the sentence up here, it says, we're going to talk about our goals. And then in our what we called it was our vision, and
Yes. We just have to change the terminology, right?
just change the word in that header, because if you look in that section, it says this is
It's
our
all the
vision and
goals. Yes.
Just change that word to goals.
That was my thought exactly. Okay.
That's what I did. Good.
So check the word use. The master plan was further informed. That's a sort of vernacular that I've used before.
It just sounds like legalese.
Yeah, so consider my background. So I'm happy to use a different word if someone has one off the top of their head.
Developed with the use of consultants.
Developed is fine with me. Is it fine with everyone else? Okay, great. I see nodding heads. And then this here commission, is it Montechusett Regional Planning Council? What
No,
do?
commission.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That comment.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. Being stuff.
Okay. Where's the appendix? That's, we've been sort of saying right along that any attachments and maps and all that will be done in the final phase. It's just, they've seen the survey results, they've seen the listening session results, and the other attachment is their own bylaw. So, in trying to save space of this very large document already, we just haven't been attaching them. So that's simple.
And that's what I said to them. I said, it's all stuff you've seen already. It's all external stuff.
Yeah, and so this must be the goal thing. There's her name, Beth's name is there, but there's no comment.
Yeah, it's just that goals issue.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Just go up to that.
Okay.
And now she has some of the charts we have. This is where we got it from underneath the chart.
Okay.
And then other charts we don't have. This is where we got it from. That was the comment here.
Yeah, I mean, this one does say population 2010 census.
Right, but just the formatting is different because
different, yeah.
In the payment caption.
So we'll just add that one right here.
Yep.
Below the table. Is enough. This is the age breakdown, Bill, that you were addressing. So we'll just table this one till we see something from them and figure out whether it goes in the appendix or as language.
Right.
This was just a change.
Yeah, they said it was, we passed it, but we didn't amend it, we passed it.
Yeah, that's fine. Comment on the survey results pertaining to dated survey. Well, we do.
All right, so this is the whole issue of, this sounds like we're really smashing our present Board of Selectmen, and we didn't make it clear enough with this survey result. We didn't want to give the impression that this is something that wasn't just a single point in time.
Yeah, I mean, and to Don's point, the whole master plan is for a point in time. So I don't mind adding again of, according to the survey done, and give the exact dates.
Right.
That's fine. Okay,
So-
needs,
But just one thing I would add is that it's been like, obviously this can change with different selectmen, but in general.
Yeah.
So I would throw in some little statement like this intention, but in general, this is an important topic.
yeah,
Just something confident like that.
yeah. Needs to reflect the current working environment. So again,
This is just the same discussion.
right, I think readers understand that this was done based on interviews and our information that was gathered prior. We did, we made a statement. We've been clear all the time that we had to have a cutoff, and
Right.
we can't keep changing it.
Right, but I think just softening this word like Townsend needs to keep developing, like otherwise it sounds like he never did anything.
Yeah, well,
Keep a focus on developing. You can really just soften it without saying that.
yeah, I'll try to find something. This one here, the next one, further explain, what is a customer service review?
I don't know. They asked me and I said, I don't know.
So customer service reviews, like, how when you fly at Logan Airport and
Right.
you leave the restroom, there's like a little touchpad where you can have a smiley face or a frown face. So, there's police departments that will send folks that had police interactions a customer survey,
Right.
so that they can get reviews, or you take
But I think customer service is just so, should integrate public feedback or something like that. With it.
okay,
Customer
that's
service
fair.
is just, it threw them off.
So public feedback
Yeah.
loops on services provided. Do you think that will help, Bill?
Yeah, that's I think that's good. They're just saying, well, we don't sell anything,
Yeah.
It sells.
So this next one, there's an existing maintenance plan. I don't know what that plan is. I've never seen that document. And it says facility manager works with an annual budget on building maintenance. So that's very different than a maintenance plan. That's working within a budget.
Yeah.
Right. So if we had a plan, we would know what we're doing with the Harbor Fire Station. We would know what we're doing with the the old center station. We would know what we're doing with the Hart Library. We would know what we're doing with the building in the harbor down by Karen that's now town property.
Is that really a maintenance plan though, Kim? Maintenance sounds like keeping the buildings from falling down.
Well, it's that too. I think we can word it differently, Bill, but I mean, until fairly recently, and actually Mark Mercurio was still here, the Hart Library was a mess, the outside of it. The old Squanicook station is a mess. We have to have community groups are maintaining our town properties, our recreational properties. That the town isn't doing that, and there's no plan. So how do we reword that to show that there's no long-term plan? Yes, and I think town employees are doing their best and their due diligence to work within the budget that they're given. But I know, there was issues with the police station and air conditioning and, different things like that. Like that whole long range of, a air conditioning unit, a generator, each of these items typically has a shelf life of X number of years. If that exists, I've never seen it. And did they say anything? And Dawn, you're on capital, so weigh in.
Well, I'm on finance.
Finance,
I'm
sorry,
not on-
finance.
That's okay, but I mean, there might be the start of, and I'm thinking maybe what it should be is maintenance and preservation plan.
Okay,
Because to your point, I think we have a building maintenance, which is cleaning, but we don't have, like, I believe the West Townsend reading room is going to need a roof. And so there's no money in a budget that explicitly says and has lines for bigger items like that. I haven't seen a plan. And so if we don't foresee it, it's gonna keep on coming up either on an emergency basis that we need to do it. It's kind of like, I can't imagine. Well, I don't know. We did town hall years ago. What's that looking like as far as major maintenance, that kind of thing?
Right,
So
right.
it's kind of like there's going to be that kind of real plan put together, which I think may work between multiple boards of taking a look at. Does a building inspector do a regular inspection of the town properties to determine that everything is in proper condition?
Yeah. And to that point, and then you mentioned town hall. I mean, how many times, not probably recently during the pandemic, but how many times did town hall have to shut down because of septic issues? And has that been addressed? I don't recall that being addressed in any recent town meetings. And I don't know if it's on the agenda for the upcoming one, but those are the kind of things that we had been referencing, which is way beyond the day-to-day. So we added here, and preservation plan that extends beyond routine, probably should be activities, not basis, right? Routine.
Kim, are you
Yeah.
going to be at the meeting with the planning board tonight?
I cannot be. I mean, I can try to,
A lot of these
I can try,
topics, you know better than I do, so.
yeah. Like another example of this is, the repainting of the police station that was, I think, allocated at 20,000. I think it cost much less. It had been it had been put in a pool of money, and then there was administrative change, and then the action actually got done. But that was not in a long-term strategy of this is when we have to, check siding, when we have to do that. So like I said, I can try to pop in for a few minutes. Are they doing a start at 6 or 6:30?
Let me see. Town website. 6:30.
Okay. All right, so the next one is cannot follow how many wells are in use currently. The system is supported by 5 groundwater distribution sources, including Main Street, which is 1, Cross is 2, Harbor 3, Witches Brook 1 and 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are the 5.
Right. Then it says only 4 are being used at this time, but this has been corrected.
Which
So
Right.
isn't true
Well,
because now Harbor Trace is offline.
Right.
I couldn't
Okay,
tell them how
so-
many were presently online.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cross Street is back on, right? And Harbor
right.
Street,
This has been
Yeah.
corrected.
so
However, Harbor Trace has now been shut down, leaving only, well, and Main Street's not back online, right?
The new Main Street is not online. The original Main
The
Street
original one is, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to specifically write out Cross Street well, so they won't get confused that Cross Street is back online? Because it says it was on.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say,
You said
It's
it's
been corrected and Cross Street is now back online.
yes, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Do you need to put down why Harbor Trace was shut down? It may not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
okay.
Kim, on whether you just added that space, I think you wanted to say now back online, not back online.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So the next one. Just a couple typo ones. So this one here, ensure potential developments impacting water capacity are reviewed by the town/conservation commission. I think if we're going to do that, I think it has to be by the conservation commission,
Or by
the
town boards
water
included?
department. Huh?
Yeah, in case anything changes, do we want to say, yeah, review by town departments, including these three? It's kind of like it maybe end up needing to be reviewed by more or
Yeah.
less, and it depends on the situation, I think.
Let's clean this up here. Okay. Next one. And the town should encourage both solar and wind power in town, and then just and other alternative renewable power sources. I'm just making the assumption that's okay with everyone to add that.
So this was an issue where Lance really didn't like wind power, but he thought it was a danger to birds and shouldn't always be encouraged. And so he wanted us to not give particulars about which ones we should have.
How about review the use of instead of encourage?
No, I think encourage is fine. I think he wanted, the town should encourage the use of alternative renewable power sources, for example, solar. I think that would be fine if we just got rid of the wind.
Eliminate that and just say,
And not exclude it, but just say
okay,
should
Well-
encourage other things such as solar.
So Bill, right now, he's having an issue with
Yeah.
the wind, which
His actual point was, the energy committee should decide exactly how renewable power is deployed, and we should just in general encourage it.
So
Do we have the survey results for this area where people are asking, or did we have any questions in the survey regarding types of alternate energy?
hang on one second. And I mean, wind power has been used forever. If you go over to, the Holland, it's everywhere.
And if
And
you actually read online, the Audubon Society says, yes, we support wind power, but you should be careful in installing that it's not in a place that would be extra dangerous for birds.
right. I mean, I think we need to be open and list the viable sources. And just because of how wind power looks now, in 5 years, it could look totally different. Look at how much solar has changed in such a short amount of time.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I thought, I actually started saying, if you actually mention things, it makes applications for grants stronger than generic terms. But I'm just telling you what he said.
Thank you. I'm just going to look up, trying to get to master planning here.
Or even better, we can stick in a sentence, ultimately the energy committee should focus on what are the best options for the applicant. And that's what we point to.
I'm just looking real quickly to
Yeah.
see some of the stuff that we pulled out, if that was mentioned in particular. No, I don't have it in the short one,
Yeah.
and it would take too much time to look at the whole thing right now. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Is we had also talked about electric charging stations too. So solar wind power. So then I think the comment about the energy committee should be at the end. So we say here the energy committee is just in their planning stage. And then, we do have this, that the town should maintain and support the energy committee as they seek out new opportunities to save money and reduce the town's carbon footprint.
Right.
So I think we have it in there that the energy committee is responsible. Happy to put it somewhere else if someone sees a logical spot for it.
All right, so then we have under recommendations that we should encourage both solar and wind.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna.
I think folks have to remember
How
that
about
this
here?
is,
How about here?
again,
We would say, as recommended by the energy committee. I think that's.
we just have to make sure that, personal biases or dislikes don't eliminate, part of the
I agree.
plan. Okay. So we'll get through those ones next. Okay, we've addressed this big one here, with the Community Preservation Act, with that paragraph that I pulled and that Bill you'll add to.
Looks like some sentence got lost entirely. It's very
Yeah.
important.
Or sometimes people would comment in the document and not in a comment field. That could have been something like
Okay.
that too.
I don't know. I couldn't really.
I don't know, but okay. Okay, so that will bring that paragraph together, and that's where they ended.
Yep.
Okay. So I think that we've addressed all their comments for this. I'm going to save this as our version that we're sending back to them. Now, hopefully there's not pushback that they're going to, be upset that they received it the day of their meeting. That was their angst when they didn't review it at the 8th. And I tried to explain, like, but this is what you had from the prior meeting, excepting really the water chapter and some cleanup. But hopefully they will review the rest of it tonight, knowing that the part that they will be reviewing has not changed. So if I'm not on for that time, Bill, if we can impress upon them that even though they're just
This
getting
is
it
what I
back.
told them. I said we would look at the changes you suggested and hopefully get back to you before Monday, and that's all I can promise.
Right.
So we should have done exactly what I said we were going to do.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have to figure out another time to meet to go over the balance of their changes. And I just want to look kind of through the all of the rest of this document they had reviewed. There's certainly a lot of maps and charts. Page 65, they're about halfway through. And then the big part, many pages of it is the implementation table. So let's keep our fingers crossed that it goes smoothly and that they can get through it. And when do you all want to meet again?
You tend to be the limiting factor, Kim. So I'm
Oh, geez.
I was gonna say, do we want to go back to a Friday? Like December 3rd to get through the holiday and give it a week? Or is that,
What, you don't want to do it Thanksgiving night?
yeah. Yeah, things are starting to get a little hectic.
Yeah.
Is that,
What I would propose if we do that is once we get the back from them, Beth is usually very good about sending it back to us right away. For the typographical stuff, if you, again, just give that clear go ahead, that I can change it in between meetings, because starting like the 2nd through the 15th, I am totally plastered with work. And then the food truck comes on the 16th. So I'd like to get the bulk of this done before that sets in. So if I have the final, if I take this basically as the final, and then once they send the new one, update those before our meeting.
I'm fine with that. Would you like a motion?
Yeah, just so that it's, and obviously you guys will be able to compare, but if there's something like the CPA, I won't address that. But if it's just a small, like, adding the census that's in the table to put it under the table as well, little things like that. If I can get all of those done before the meeting.
I move that we allow Kim to make non-substantial edits to the document by herself and send it out to us for the next meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Don,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Karen, and I am in favor as well. Okay, anything else? Questions, comments?
Master plan, 8:30 a.m. on December 3rd, if we can arrange that.
Yes,
Hopefully it's easier this time.
yes, thank you. There was a lot of work going back and forth, and we owe a debt of gratitude to Dave Funioli for making this happen and figuring out how to have 2 meetings going on in town at the same time. So greatly appreciate that, so that we didn't get behind here in our activities.
Yep.
So if no one has anything else,
So the December 3rd is our next meeting.
yes,
All right, then I move that we close the meeting at 9:25.
all in
Second.
favor, Karen? Oh, yep, thanks, Don, for the second. Getting ahead of myself. All in favor, Karen,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
and I am in favor as well. And everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday.